What's up, guys? Welcome back to AFC Game by Game. I hope you're all really well. That was an important win. Whether it was a good win is another question entirely, but it was an important win given that we go into the international break in third place, 1 point behind Manchester City. On the spin of things, it's looking pretty rosy. The table is looking very tasty. I mean, we're 1 point behind City. We're also 1 point ahead of Crystal Palace, so let's not get ahead of ourselves just yet. But there's a lot to be excited about in terms of our position at the minute. In terms of what we're seeing on the pitch, maybe not so much to get excited about. I honestly have to say that football that I saw from us today was very drab, very mediocre, very disappointing, especially when we had so many chances and such a good opportunity to win this game in quite a stylistic way. I'm really disappointed with the fact that we've not really expressed ourselves in the way that we have done against Nottingham Forest, against Standard Liège, played that exciting, expansive style of football. We haven't really implemented that from our B team and taken that to our A team. It's crazy how much more exciting the football is when we don't really have the pressure on us. Obviously, we've got to win Premier League matches, and I would happily take, maybe not happily, but I'd take 30 more 1-0 wins if we could do that throughout the course of the season. But the overriding thing is this type of football, in my opinion, isn't sustainable. The way we're playing, the way we invite pressure, the amount of chances we conceded to Bournemouth in that second half, the lack of creativity going forwards. For me, we will come undone as we did towards the back end of last season, and we will be found out probably sooner rather than later. So the table aside, I'm not paying too much attention to that. The football, what I'm seeing on the pitch, is disappointing. I've got to be brutally honest there. Of course, I don't think it's time to be calling for Emery to be sacked, but once we've got Holding, Bellerin, Tierney, Lacazette all back in the team, if we're still not seeing improvement with those players, then I do think questions have to be asked of Emery. And I'm not saying that in a horrible way. I'm not saying that in an Emery out sort of agenda sort of way, but honestly, the football is not at the standard that we need to be playing at, and we will be found out because this type of playing just isn't sustainable, as I say. But I think it would be ignorant to assume that we're not going to play better when we've got Rob Holding, when we've got Bellerin and Tierney back in the team, who I think are going to be so essential to the good work we do going forward. And Lacazette, I mean, it's no coincidence that the performances have dipped a little bit since he's been out of the team. He's so crucial in bringing other players into the game, and I think when he's linking up with Aubameyang, with Lacazette, I do think we'll see that link between midfield and attack become a bit more noticeable, because at the minute we don't have it, and I think the lineup was wrong today. I've got to say, I'm still baffled by Mesut Ozil's exile from the team, and I think it is a pointless debate at the minute because Emery clearly doesn't fancy him. Whatever our supporters think of him, Emery doesn't raise him, and he's the guy that makes the decisions. So we're wasting our breath talking about it. But you know what? I'm going to talk about it anyway because might as well. Dani Ceballos today started in a position that Mesut Ozil would normally start in, and for me, Dani Ceballos is not a number 10. He's not creative enough to play in that role. He looks creative, but he's not got that killer instinct, that killer pass to play in someone like Aubameyang, Lacazette, Pepe. And I don't think those players, those forward players we've got in Pepe, Aubameyang, etc., are reaping the rewards that we could potentially have if we had someone like Mesut Ozil playing in this Arsenal team. Xhaka's great at playing the long ball. Torreira isn't really that sort of player to play that killer instinct ball. Dani Ceballos isn't that player. Guendouzi is showing glimpses of becoming that player, but he's not there just yet. And I do think we do miss someone like Mesut Ozil. We need a creator. We need a link between midfield and attack. We need someone to play in the likes of Pepe, etc. And the ironic thing for me is that we've probably got the best attack we'll ever have in Ozil's stint at the club. When he first started and he was playing with Giroud, Walcott, and now he's got Nicolas Pepe, he's got Aubameyang, he's got Lacazette, and now he's not in the team. It's mental, in my opinion. It's really crazy, and he must just be so hacked off with how this season has played out for him. And the even more ironic thing is that he will captain this team when we play Liverpool in the Carabao Cup. That's just even more insane. And it's bewildering that Emery has named this guy as one of his 5 captains. He might as well be brutally honest and not even name him as part of the captaincy group, because he just doesn't rate him. And obviously Ozil isn't going to have any good feelings towards Emery after all this, is he? So that's just Ozil's got to leave the club, or Emery's got, one of them has got to go, and I think it probably will be Mesut Ozil in the January transfer window, because this is not good for his career, especially when he's just only 31. Like, it's not like he's a really old player yet. He's still got plenty to play for. In games like this, and games like we had against Aston Villa, I mean, he's the ideal candidate to play in those sort of games. He loves creating space, and he will create opportunities for Aubameyang and co. So disappointed that he's not featured in the team again, but that's the last time I'm going to talk about it, because Emery will not feature him in the games in the Premier League. Obviously, he played that game against Watford, played the great through ball to Maitland-Niles, who set up one of the goals in that game. And since then, obviously, Emery's seen something and just decided he's not going to be a part of the team this season. So whatever happens, has happened there, has happened. Yeah. Not going to talk about it anymore. But there is that missing link, and Sabas isn't that player. He's not a number 10. He's not creative enough to do that. Ramsey was good at it. Not so much a creator, but a driver. And I think if we are going to play that sort of way where we're pressing, maybe Joe Willock's a better option to have. But then again, I don't think Xhaka and Guendouzi is a sustainable midfield partnership. I don't think they're a good midfield pivot. I think they're individually, they bring something to the team. Guendouzi, I thought, was very good again today. I thought Xhaka played well as well. But as a partnership, they're too similar, and I don't think they work together. They just don't offer enough in midfield. I think you could possibly drop Sabas deeper alongside one of Guendouzi or Xhaka, and then play someone like an Ozil at number 10 or a Willock at number 10, who in this instance probably would play. So that would be my way of doing things. But then up front, Saka, Pepe, Aubameyang. Aubameyang pretty anonymous in this game, got to say. Pepe, what should have had a penalty, got to say. I don't understand VAR, to be brutally honest with you. That looks like a stonewall penalty, and I can't get my head around how that wasn't checked. And looking at it back on the replays, I mean, it definitely looks like a penalty. So unfortunately, that wasn't going to go in Pepe's favour. But he had another great chance in this game to score that he created for himself. He had a few good opportunities, but he did get taken off around the 70-minute mark. So not his best performance, and I think it's going to still take him time to get up to speed. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't worried about his performances, because they're not as potent, they're not as exciting as I was hoping they would be. But I think, you know, you look back in time at the likes of Pires, Bergkamp, Henry, they all took time to bed into the team, so it should be no different just because he's cost £72 million. That's just how the market is these days. So I think we've really got to make an assumption about this guy around Christmas time rather than now, but we do need to be seeing more output from him, that's what I will say. But got the assist for the goal today, the only goal that changed things in the game. Great corner from him, brilliant header from David Luiz, who I thought was excellent as well today, probably his best performance in an Arsenal shirt for me. Took the header really well, and his counterpart, Callum James, as well. I thought he was excellent at right back, and you know, he doesn't offer much going forward. He set up that Aubameyang chance towards the end where Aubameyang hit the post, but his crossing is actually very good. His tackling was absolutely tremendous today. Really, really good tackles he was putting in. But I think he's got to be playing centre-back, and I'm really just itching to see, you know, Luiz and Chambers, Luiz holding, and eventually at some point holding Chambers towards the end of the season, which I think we can slowly nurture into being our strongest centre-back partnership. But Socrates, I think we've just got to start pushing this guy away from the starting 11 slowly but surely. I think that's got to happen. I can't wait to see Holding back in the team ahead of this guy. Kolasinac at left back. The sooner Tierney gets in the team, the better, to be honest. It's not that Kolasinac doesn't work hard, but his output just isn't as good as it needs to be. And seeing Tierney's performance against Standard Liège, you just know exactly what you're getting. You're going to get accurate crosses, and unfortunately Kolasinac, that's part of his game where he's continuously letting us down. It's his final ball. Saka, the other guy up top, he had a good game. Probably not as exciting as he was against Manchester United or in the game against Villa, but I think he played well today. Did some very good things. He is excellent at shielding the ball when he's got about 3 players around him and then wiggling it out and getting it to somebody else. He is really, really good at that, and he's a player that is going to excel. Easy to forget he's only 18 because he does play with such maturity, but yeah, another strong performance from him, and it's just going to be a case of him continuing to build at the club. Disappointed not to see Tierney get some minutes in this game. I was really disappointed not to see him start, to be honest, but given that we've got the international break coming up, I think Emery will look at this as a positive that we've got through this game, got the 3 points, and we haven't had to play the likes of Bellerin, Tierney, Holding. So after the international break, whilst those players have had like almost a month back in the first team now, I want to see them getting starts in the Premier League. It's got to happen sooner rather than later. And yeah, we saw Martinelli get about half an hour. I thought he looked like a real bright spark as soon as he came on, looking really tenacious, picks up that early yellow card, which, you know, great to see, but only do it once in the game, don't do it twice. He did look energetic. He got forward at every opportunity he could, worked really, really hard, picked up exactly where he left off from that game against Liège. So I'm feeling good about this guy. I think he's a real good option for us, because we're all talking about the likes of Aubameyang and Lacazette potentially getting injured at some point this season. He's a really good replacement to have. Not a finished article by any means, but he is a good option to have, and hopefully we can get through this season with Aubameyang, Martinelli, Lacazette all interchanging, all getting minutes on the pitch without one of them getting injured. But a very exciting prospect. And the positive is that we've ended the game with two 20-year-olds and two 18-year-olds on the pitch. So excited about the future. I'm very excited about what's to come from this Arsenal team, but the football needs to improve massively because it's not at the level it should be. I think the most frustrating thing for me as a supporter is that I watch these games knowing that we can do so much more. We've got the players to do so much more. It's just the way they're being lined up. And you know it's there. You know it's there because you look at the games against Forest, against Liège, against Frankfurt. You know exactly what this team is capable of doing when they're able to express themselves. But when we're playing with a Guendouzi, Xhaka pivot, when we've got no link between midfield and attack, it just is flat. It's very flat. But positives, big positive is a clean sheet today. The fact that we're 1 point behind City is crazy. I think let's not pay too much attention to the table just yet. I mean, City have had a shaky start, let's be honest. Apart from that emphatic win they got against Watford, they've had a few shaky results. Losing 2-0 at home to Wolves today, never would have seen that coming in a million years. Liverpool seems to be heading away with the title only 8 games into the season, which is crazy. They've already got an 8-point lead. And let's be honest, if the teams around us weren't doing so poorly, then we probably wouldn't be in the position that we currently are in. Spurs have just imploded. I don't know what's happened there. It just seems crazy how the wheels have gone off with Mauricio Pochettino's side. Chelsea are probably our biggest threat, I think. They're playing the type of football that we should be playing. Expansive, exciting. We can play that way. We definitely can play that way. And if we do play that way, then we've got the better players than Chelsea to get even better results. I honestly believe that we've got a stronger team than Chelsea, and I think we've got just as exciting youth products, but they've got to be lined up in the right way. And Emery isn't just doing that at the minute. And I'm not a manager, so I'm not gonna. I'm the last person to be criticising him. But from the outside looking in, this isn't the type of football that I think a lot of Arsenal supporters want to be seeing. But it's a win. We go into the international break in 3rd place, which is very important for morale. And then we come back and we've got Sheffield United away from home, which is going to be a very tricky game against a side that have started their Premier League campaign very well. But on that note, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Please do drop a like on the video if you have enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. And as always, I will speak to you very soon. See you later, guys.